You have probably heard of the term big cats, used to describe members of the genus Panthera, as well as two non-pantherine felines, the cheetah and the cougar. Together, they form one of the most formidable groups of carnivores alive today. Roughly 3/4 of the world's countries host at least one species of big cat at the top of the food chain. This is an astonishing achievement, and their dominance stretches back millions of years, with the earliest ancestors appearing in the late Miocene, around 6 million years ago. However, despite this success, big cats are not the only fearsome predators. Another powerful group belongs to the family Canidae. This includes domestic dogs, coyotes, foxes, and several others. Like the big cats, they are spread across the globe, but unlike their feline counterparts, most canids are considerably smaller. The gray wolf, the largest living wild canid, only reaches a size comparable to the snow leopard, the second smallest of the big cats. This naturally raises the question, where are all the so-called giant dogs? The answer is simple. They vanished long ago. Yet once upon a time, giant dogs or canids did exist, and they ruled vast regions of the earth. The largest and most terrifying of them all was Epicyon. Even though it was the biggest canid of all time, chances are you have heard little, if anything, about Epicyon, as it has rarely been featured in popular media. In fact, the animal has been known for over 160 years, with the first fossils discovered in Nebraska, United States. The holotype was a shattered lower jaw that still showed wolf-like traits, which led to its initial classification as a subgenus of Canis. But as more complete fossils were unearthed, especially full skulls, paleontologists realized this creature was no wolf at all. Thanks to its enlarged premolars, the skull of Epicyon in some ways resembled that of a lion or a hyena more than a wolf. Still, the body clearly belonged to a canid, which left paleontologists with the pressing question, what exactly was this animal?
The answer lay in its teeth. The massive premolars and shortened jaws were hallmark traits of the Borophaginae, one of the 3 major subfamilies within Canidae. This subfamily included 66 species, marked by their bone-crushing teeth, deep jaws, and even the presence of a 5th toe. For over 15 million years, borophagines thrived across North America, ranging in size from smaller than a fox to larger than a gray wolf. Among them, Epicyon stood out as the true giant, so large in fact that its name literally means more than a dog. There were 3 recognized species, Epicyon saevis, Epicyon haydeni, and Epicyon isodon. The first 2 were smaller and more slender, though still impressive, with adults sometimes weighing twice as much as a German shepherd. But Epicyon haydeni was the real monster. Fully grown individuals often stretched about 2.5 meters in length and stood nearly 1 meter tall at the shoulders, making them as long as a grizzly bear and as tall as a wild deer. They typically weighed between 100 kilograms and 125 kilograms, heavier than a leopard and comparable to the largest jaguars. Some fossilized humeri, however, reveal individuals that tipped the scales at around 170 kilograms, equal in mass to a medium-sized male lion and heavier than any canid that has ever lived. Its enormous size allowed Epicyon to bring down prey far larger than those targeted by other canids. But this was not its only advantage. Epicyon wielded a devastating bite. Its large canines, positioned close to the rear of the jaw, concentrated force directly into the tooth tips, delivering lethal punctures. Powerful jaws and massive bite muscles only amplified this strength. Estimates suggest its bite force may have exceeded 16,000 newtons, comparable to that of a giant American alligator. With such power, it could easily pierce through hide and even shatter the bones of massive animals like Telecerus, the long-snouted rhinoceros that reached 4 meters in length and weighed nearly 2 tons.
Fossil evidence and habitat analysis suggest Epicyon may have hunted in packs, much like wolves or African wild dogs today. This makes sense given its heavy build, which made it poorly suited for endurance chases, but effective in short bursts of speed, a trait that fits well with cooperative hunting. Still, it is possible that Epicyon sometimes hunted alone, focusing on slower but larger prey. Another key adaptation was its bone-crushing ability. Its enlarged molars, broad at the base and shaped like pyramids, enabled it to splinter bones with ease to access the rich marrow within. This diet has been confirmed by coprolites, fossilized feces containing large quantities of bone fragments. It is a striking case of convergent evolution. Hyenas and Epicyon are not closely related, yet both developed the same capacity for bone consumption. This adaptation maximized their access to nutrients, a critical advantage during times of scarcity. Epicyon endured for 15 million years, from about 20 MA to 5 MA, and during that span became one of the most common carnivores in North America. Yet, eventually, it too disappeared. The cause remains debated. An older theory proposed that the rise of giant cats spelled its downfall, but many of the big felines, including Smilodon, appeared long after Epicyon was gone. A more convincing explanation points to climate change, as shifting temperatures and increasing aridity transformed ecosystems in ways this predator could not withstand. Even so, the disappearance of Epicyon did not mark the end of the era of giant dogs. Other species would rise to prominence afterward, most famously, the dire wolf, a predator celebrated in popular culture, though in truth not a true wolf at all.